So a lot of us were wondering if you've seen The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, minor spoiler alert, the last episode took place in New York City. And word got around in New York City, pretty much on everybody's television screens and phones and whatnot, what was happening, what was going down in New York City. And that's the Flag Smashers, taking over the GRC and taking hostages. And a lot of us were wondering, where was Spider-Man in this? This is the home of Spider-Man. I'm sure Peter Parker had his TV on, or he would have heard about it, since this took place in his home city. I mean, technically Queens is where he's at, and one can argue that he only protects Queens for now, since he's a young, friendly neighborhood type of Spider-Man, so he's just taken to the streets. But another can argue, like, Spider-Man should have showed up for this kind of thing if this was happening at the heart of New York City. So anyways, I'm going to talk to you about this real quick. It's kind of a short video for tonight, guys, but I want to talk to you about how, like, the Spider-Man cameo got shot down by Kevin Feige himself, and they could have easily had Spider-Man appear in this series, perhaps for even a cameo, or maybe assist Falcon, who is now known as Captain America, in this fight. And we'll just break it down real quick. I'll even, quote Kevin Feige's statement about that, and then I'll break down, like, my theories and my thoughts about it as well. But first, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. As always, I post videos on a daily, and I do live streams twice a week, only Tuesdays and Sundays, 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So go ahead and calculate whatever time zone that is for you guys. Anyways, I want to thank you all for coming in, and watching this video. Again, subscribe, really helps the channel. Join my Discord, invitation link to that is down in the description box below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the article. So Kevin Feige shot down the Spider-Man cameo in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And throughout the 6-episode run, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier featured a few surprises appearances from the MCU veterans, including Don Cheadle's Jim Rhodes and Florence Kanzumba's Ayo. But if showrunner Malcolm Spellman had his way, the show would have also invited one of Marvel's A-listers to make an appearance. Unfortunately, studio boss Kevin Feige shot down this idea while speaking with Inverse. Spellman claimed that there was discussions about Spider-Man playing a role in the series' climax. Of course, said Spellman. Then Kevin Feige tells you, no, stop it. Listen, when you first show up to these projects, in your mind you think you're going to get to everybody in the MCU. But Marvel always asks, does this person belong in this story? You cannot just geek out and put all of the characters in your project because you like them. They have to occur organically. So Spider-Man did not make it. Given how Spider-Man Far From Home ended, it really shouldn't come as a surprise that Feige didn't want Peter Parker back in the MCU just yet. If he did just show up, it might have confused viewers who last saw Peter's identity exposed, even though it took place before Far From Home. Regardless, we won't see Peter Parker until Spider-Man No Way Home premieres in December. So do you think leaving Spider-Man out of the Falcon and Winter Soldier's finale was the right call? You let me know down in the comment section below. Now, I want to talk about a few things before I discuss my idea about leaving Spider-Man out of this series finale was the right call. First off, Kevin Feige is right. As much as we want to see our favorite characters such as Spider-Man and various other A-lister Avengers make an appearance in these series, Kevin Feige is right about one thing. Sometimes characters don't belong in a certain story. This is very much a Falcon and Winter Soldier type of story that really surrounds around the idea of super soldiers. And Spider-Man's not a super soldier. You can argue that he's more of an enhanced, more of a mutate. But he's not a super soldier, so this story wouldn't really mix well with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got his own deal, his own problems to deal with and everything like that. And Kevin Feige's right about it feeling organic. So such stories such as Infinity War and Endgame is very organic. I mean, albeit there were minor appearances, but in Infinity War, Peter Parker played a much bigger role, even though he got snapped towards like the end of the film. It is organic because this is the fate of the earth that lies in the hands of our heroes, and that involves everybody. That's what made it feel so organic. But this story is so centered around the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. This is their problem that they got to solve. If you really think about it, you can really apply this to real life. Would you want everybody in your life, such as your loved ones and families and friends, to be a part of your problems every single day? It's just not realistic, honestly. And yeah, you can argue that, yes, this was all over the news and maybe a superhero such as Spider-Man would react to some kinds of things like this, something like this, because it's what he does. He jumps in and saves the day. But the thing is that there was already a lot going on. There was a lot of context. There was a lot of backstory to this. Falcon and Bucky, the Winter Soldier, they already had it down packed. They already know what was going on. They already knew the background of the situation. So it wouldn't actually feel right, if you really think about it, for Spider-Man to just jump in without having any sort of clue as to what's going on. Yes, Kevin Feige is right, and this is coming from a Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man's really my favorite character, but honestly, would you really want Spider-Man to appear in every single Marvel story there is? And vice versa, would you really want every single Marvel character to appear in everybody else's story? If the characters are going to be used, they have to be used organically. They need to have purpose. They got to have a reason as to why they're going to be in the story. And there was another theory that perhaps Spider-Man was not ready to come out and play superhero because he was dealing with the issues from Far From Home. But you got to remember that Far From Home takes place at least 6 to 8 months after the events of Endgame, whereas the Falcon and the Winter Soldier only takes place just about a few months, but before the events of Far From Home. So technically, Peter Parker Spider-Man was available to do some superheroing before the events of Far From Home. It was possible. It was actually, it could have been a no-brainer and an easy thing for Kevin Feige to do, but ultimately it was his decision not to involve him in this story, because it does make sense, and it does it's not basically natural to have someone like Spider-Man or perhaps any other kind of superhero or Avenger to appear in this story. Like, you wouldn't want James Rhodey to be a part of the story either. Even though a cameo from him would have been pretty cool, we already got that in episode 2. This is very much a Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of problem, and they already had it down packed. You know, sometimes you got to give faith in people and believe that they can handle it without getting involved. You know, again, you can apply this to real life. You wouldn't want to be a part of, you know, someone that, you know, you wouldn't want to be a part of their problems all the time. You know, you can't always be there for them. It's just not realistic. People have their own lives, their own problems they got to deal with, and that's just that. But when it comes to like a world, like an Avenger level threat where like the world's at stake, then yeah, then it would be natural to involve every kind of hero and to seek help from everybody you know. So this is pretty much where Kevin Feige's coming from, if I was to interpret it, and I believe him. So what are your thoughts about this, guys? Do you think Spider-Man should have made an appearance since the events of the series finale took place in the Big Apple? You comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and if you believe what Kevin Feige is saying and you think what he's saying makes sense, you comment down below as well. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I know it wasn't much, and I know I'm uploading pretty late, but I just wanted to like get this video out there and, you know, have it for you to watch, at least for tonight. That's pretty much it. So anyways, I got nothing else. Thank you so much for watching once again. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. And click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.